everybody. I am Luca Fois from Milano, Italy. Yuelai, the near ones please, and the far ones come. I wish for you the 2020 Chongqing Yuelai International Design Forum a complete success.
大家好，我是 Stefano Piottini，我在上海。I'm the creative director and head of Asia Pacific for Huda Fieri Saverino Partners. 有祝2020 Chongqing Yuelai 国际设计论坛圆满成功。大家好，我是杨明杰，我在上海。
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Yang Mingjie. I'm from Chongqing. I wish a complete success of 2020 Yuelai International Industrial Design Forum.
At the Chongqing Yuelai International Design Forum, a complete success this year.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nicholas Sertovic from Serbia. Yuelai, the near one please, and the far ones come. I wish the 2020 Chongqing Yuelai Design Forum a complete success.
Hello everybody, I'm Paolo Bazzoni, Chairman of the Italian Chamber of Commerce in China. I'm very pleased to participate in the next edition of Yuelai International Design Forum, and I wish to the event a great success. See you soon. Thank you. 大家好，我是马可，我是
Good afternoon. I am Mike. I am the chief. 我希望2020重庆国际设计论坛圆满成功。
National President of IAD, Italian Association for Communication Design. Looking forward to visit your city and your place, I wish the Chongqing Yuelai International Design Forum a great and complete success. Bye bye everybody. Have a good day.
尊敬的各位来宾 ，distinguished guests， 现场来自工业设计、建筑设计。
Good afternoon. And this has manifested our manners to welcome our guests of Yuelai Group. I believe the guests here today from the main forum in the morning till the afternoon, you have felt the warmest welcome from Yuelai Group. Thank you. Please allow me to welcome again welcome the 2020 Chongqing Yuelai International Design Forum, which is held by Chongqing Industrialization and Economic Commission. I am the hostess. Now I'd like to introduce the important guests here today. Mr. Zhao Gang, the member of the Party Committee of Chongqing Party Commission. Mr. Lu Zhenan Gangzhou, the technology ambassador of Italy in China, and the party secretary of Yuelai Group, Madam Wang Jumeng. Mr. Paolo Bazzoni, the chairman of Italian Chamber in China. Mr. Stefano Piccinino, designer and the CEO and design director in the Asian area. And Mr. Yuan Forth Yulin, think well. the design CEO of Think Well. And Mrs. Helen Tu. And Mr. Yang Mingjie, which is the design director of Yang Design. And Mr. Nicholas Deretovic, design director. And Madam Feng Chunhui of the International Industrial Design Center of the National Industrialization and Industry Center. Welcome again, dear guests. Besides, we have seen in the videos that some guests have sent their greetings and welcome from the video. And Mr. Nikhil Delucci and Polo Design from Milan Technology of Art Design, and Mark Beatty, and the Spread and Art College from Italy. Welcome again, distinguished guests, and thank you for your greetings. I hope you can gain more insights through the communications here today. Now I can't wait to introduce the first speaker. She is from the Italian-China Foundation, Madam Tu Hongyi, to give us the speech. Thank you. Distinguished leaders, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and all the guests present here today, I'm very happy and a little excited. My name is Tu Hongyi. I am the member of the board of Italian-China Board Foundation. I have been working in this foundation for 20 years. And my experience here so far has showed me the communication in the design area, and I felt that the power from the design is spreading to every sectors of life. So thank you very much, Yuelai Group. Yuelai, which means pleasure in China, really make me feel pleasure here today. As an old industrial city, Chongqing has a profound industrial heritage. In recent years, many new industries have been successfully developed in a global industrial chain. And with the expansion of globalization, there are inevitably many frictions. And I think this forum can let us feel that a platform for ideas to be exchanged and shared can make us feel that we are enjoying a broadening platform. You may find that what I'm thinking actually is different from the files that I sent to you, because I'm really proud and happy and excited today. And Italy is a world-renowned country of culture, art, fashion, and design. With its long history and brilliant renaissance, Italy has a unique aesthetic philosophy, and such aesthetic value in the design field has created unparalleled achievements for the world. We all know the cars, clothing, machinery, furniture, and culture and tourism as well are outstanding because this is all because the power of industrial design, and we have seen the industrial designers here today with us. We can see industrial design can upgrade the values of the products. Our Italy-China Foundation has been committed to building a platform for industrial cooperation between China and Italy in recent years. I we have cooperation with several global governments to bring Italian industrial content and cultural IP to China. It is our honor to participate in Chongqing's economic and cultural construction, and this industrial design is a new field of our participation, and this new field is the driving force behind the creation of life aesthetics. And we are very happy, and we happily accepted the invitation of Chongqing Yuelai Group to join this platform. So thank you again. Chic investment is a bridge in promoting China and Italy cooperation, and we have conducted a serious cooperations with the governments, including cultural IP and cultural content to China. We also hope in the future the Chic investment can participate in the economic and cultural construction of Chongqing. This Italian word means quality life. This morning, Professor Liu Guanzhong, Professor Liu Guanzhong said that we need to focus on the most essential human needs. I think Italy is doing well here. We call it humanity in English because it really emphasizes on humanity, human needs, very essential needs. I hope in the future on this land, which is nurtured by Yuelai Group, more Italian corporations, just like we also see some leaders from the and guests from the Italian corporations, like here today. We can hope they can have further cooperation with in China here, and because of the limitation of the pandemic brought by the pandemic, many guests cannot be here today in person. But I can give you the promise that in the future we will hold more such platforms to facilitate communication like this, to yield spiritual pleasure, to let more Chinese people feel the quality life brought by Italian elements. And the residents and the industrial chains in southern eastern China can also have the opportunity to enjoy that. As President of China Xi Jinping put it, the relationship between countries should focus on more communication, and the communication between people should have the focus of the communication of heart. And I think today's platform is such a bridge to realize that, and tomorrow we are going to meet more experts in this industry and bring these insights and enlightenment to more people. So let us work together hand in hand by working hard on industrial design and provide new energy for China's industrial transformation upgrading. Thank you. Thank you very much for your great speech. I have learned that Italian word. I hope I pronounce it correctly. I think in the future, if China and Italy work together, the industrial values must be upgraded by advancing industrial design. The next speaker is the chairman of China Italian Chambers, Paolo Bassoni. Let's warmly welcome him.
guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be here. I'm very happy. Good morning to everybody. Good afternoon, actually. Firstly, thank you for the invitation to participate in this forum, Design, Reshaping Industrial Value, and thanks to Chongqing Municipal Economic and Information Commission, the Management Committee of Lianjiang New District for the organization of this event, and Chongqing Yuelai Investment Group and SHIC. The China-Italy Chamber of Commerce is the only business organization recognized by both the Italian government, the Ministry of Economic Development, and People's Republic of China, Ministry of Civil Affairs. Our association is composed with almost 600 Italian companies located in China, with 5 offices: Beijing, Chongqing, Guangzhou, Shanghai, Suzhou, and soon new desk in Chengdu, Tianjin, and Shenzhen, having the mission to promote and share the Italian excellence in the Chinese market and spread the culture of the quality of Italian products and services, increasing the penetration of companies in the territory, boosting business opportunity among 2 countries all around the Chinese territories. Design, quality, and creativity are the distinctive sign of made in Italy. Italy is a country that knows how to constantly innovate the products, the processes, and even strategic thinking. Design is the ability to make something useful, even beautiful, sustainable, and healthy. Promoting Italian design means enhancing the Italian contribution in terms of strategic thinking, work organization, and also to combine aesthetic aspects and industrial production. Often, when we talk about Italian industry, we tend to think exclusively about luxury goods and food and beverage sectors, of which our country is a world leader, of course, but we must not forget that our country is also the 2nd manufacturing industry in Europe and the 7th in the world, and is the 3rd world exporter in the field of robotics and automation as well. Italy is therefore a supplier leading technology and machinery to the main industrial powers in the world, including China. When we talk about the industrial design, we can immediately see how Italy is the world leader in car design, furniture design, even in mechanic and industrial component design. Brands such as Ferrari, Maserati, Alfa Romeo, Vespa, Piaggio, Ducati, Brembo, Bonfiglioli, and so on, and all the furniture and architecture design that are well known in the world and in China. But the spirit of innovative design rooted in ancient history, in the splendid culture of Italy. So innovation and culture are fundamental. Italians are willing to apply new technology, new material, accept new colors, new shape, and new aesthetic, and pursue new trends. Therefore, it can be said that Italian design leads the world design trend, creating business opportunities. Design is the result of cooperation between design and companies in the world. Just as there are no product without a company, no product without business. In Italy, design culture and corporate culture cooperates. In China too, and also it revolves around this. The relationship is reflected in the constantly changing ability to innovate. As a businessman and the chairman of Italian Chamber of Commerce in China, we believe in the quality and innovation technology as a key driver of sustainability and economic growth. And we are looking forward to collaborate with Chinese companies to enhance this culture of design with investment Yuelai and for more business opportunity in Chongqing. I wish all the participants and all the companies present and professionals present today in this forum a productive session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Paolo Bazzoni.
Design and innovation are really the symbols of Italian design, and also one of the features of today's forum. The next guest is not here with us today, but he's going to talk to us in the video and share with us the precious experience in this area. He is the designer and architect and founder of ALTL, Mikhail Kaluki. And he is going to talk about aesthetics, industrial mindset, and sustainability.
Sì, del mio lavoro ho spesso sofferto per il fatto che non ho mai deciso veramente che cosa fare da vecchio. Ho spesso sofferto di questa indecisione, no? Sin dai tempi dell'università non sapevo se volevo fare l'artista, se volevo fare l'architetto, se volevo fare il designer. Oggi poi in particolar modo, e qui in Italia si sente molto, c'è molta competizione tra architetti, designer, artisti, per chi si immagina meglio il futuro del mondo. E soprattutto tra architetti e designer. In Italia il design è molto, molto forte, molto riconosciuto, e io sono riconosciuto più per il mio lavoro di designer che per il mio lavoro di architetto. Ma invece gran parte di quello che ho fatto e di quello che ho pensato e che penso tuttora è orientato proprio verso il mondo degli uomini, il mondo delle cose, sì, il mondo dei prodotti, sì, ma il mondo che gli oggetti, i prodotti e le cose interferiscono nello spazio, il modo con cui gli oggetti fanno lo spazio, perché è sicuro che non è lo spazio che fa gli oggetti, ma sono gli oggetti che fanno lo spazio. E forse questa è la soluzione, perché proprio quello che mette insieme architettura, design, arte, sono proprio gli oggetti. Quando noi progettiamo un oggetto, non progettiamo solamente la sua forma, il suo colore, la sua materia, la sua bellezza, ma progettiamo soprattutto il mondo che girerà attorno a questo oggetto, i comportamenti di chi userà questi oggetti, i cambiamenti che ne deriveranno nella personalità dei singoli e nella personalità delle società. Quando soprattutto un prodotto ha successo, si influisce molto sulla personalità delle comunità che usano a quell'oggetto e si riferiscono a quell'oggetto proprio per il significato a cui viene attribuito. Non è vero che gli oggetti e i prodotti valgono solamente quando hanno un successo commerciale, per niente, tutt'altro. Molto spesso gli oggetti valgono proprio per quello che rappresentano, i simboli che gli mettiamo dentro e le comunicazioni e le connessioni e le relazioni che gli oggetti attivano. Poi devo dire che oggetti, prodotti, tavoli, sedie, lavatrici, frigoriferi, computer sono oggetti tanto quanto sono oggetti le costruzioni, le case, le architetture, gli edifici, i grattacieli. Quando li vediamo da lontano diventano piccoli e diventano proprio degli oggetti. E dirò anche che una delle formule migliori per valutare la qualità architettonica è proprio quella di guardarli da lontano, di guardare le architetture da lontano per vedere come si inseriscono nell'ambiente, nel paesaggio, nel contesto generale. E solo allora si capisce se sono degli oggetti che sono ben disegnati, ben concepiti e ben collocati. Sì, certo, è importante che funzionino bene, ma il fatto di funzionare è ovvio. È ovvio che le sedie devono essere comode e che i palazzi pubblici devono avere grande spazio e che le case private devono essere confortevoli e con una bella atmosfera. È ovvio, quello che è importante è il significato che gli attribuiamo. Quando disegniamo un prodotto, un oggetto di design, un progetto per l'industria, dobbiamo sì accontentare il proprietario dell'azienda, colui che è il nostro committente, che ci paga per quello che facciamo. Sicuramente dobbiamo attribuire importanza al cliente, industria, come società, come comunità di persone che lavorano e che lavorano per il profitto e la prosperosità di questa azienda. Dobbiamo soddisfare i rappresentanti della parte produttiva, perché è importante che il prodotto sia facile da produrre. Dobbiamo soddisfare il gruppo, il team delle persone che si occupano di marketing, perché è importante che il prodotto abbia successo commercialmente. Dobbiamo accontentare i responsabili della logistica, perché i prodotti devono essere impacchettati bene, non devono consumare spazio, devono essere facili da trasportare e così via. Lo sappiamo bene questo. Sappiamo anche bene che dobbiamo di certo soddisfare i consumatori, perché se i consumatori non sono contenti, quel prodotto non si venderà mai. Dobbiamo soddisfare anche il mercato fatto dai negozianti, il mercato fatto dalle persone che raccontano il prodotto, che lo sanno presentare bene. Insomma, abbiamo una grande moltitudine di persone da soddisfare. E per un prodotto questo è facilmente comprensibile. Forse anche per una casa è comprensibile, perché quando si disegna un palazzo di appartamenti si sa che dobbiamo soddisfare l'investitore, dobbiamo soddisfare l'immobiliarista, dobbiamo soddisfare l'impresa di costruzioni che deve costruire quel grande edificio, ma dobbiamo anche soddisfare quello che andrà a vendere gli appartamenti, colui che andrà a raccontare perché quegli appartamenti sono belli e meritano di essere venduti e perché valgono il prezzo con il quale vengono venduti. E sicuramente dobbiamo soddisfare chi andrà ad abitare in quegli appartamenti, perché se non sarà contento, dopo quell'edificio, quell'investimento non avrà successo. Ma la cosa più importante è soddisfare dei clienti che noi non abbiamo mai davanti nella realtà, nella praticità, nella fisicità del momento. Perché sia quando si disegnano i prodotti per le industrie, sia quando si disegnano le architetture, gli edifici per la città, abbiamo di fronte tante persone che quel prodotto, quell'edificio non lo volevano, non ne avevano bisogno, non era necessario, e si troveranno improvvisamente tanti prodotti in più che riempiono, che ingombrano lo spazio dei negozi, dei supermercati, dei centri commerciali. Si troveranno un edificio proprio lì, nella loro strada, davanti a casa loro magari, si troveranno un edificio che gli impedisce di vedere oltre al prato che avevano davanti una volta. Ecco, ci sono tante persone che si troveranno con qualche cosa che proprio non si aspettavano, non volevano neanche, non desideravano. È a loro soprattutto che bisogna pensare. È a loro soprattutto che bisogna pensare, perché è a loro soprattutto che quello che noi facciamo oggi è destinato. È molto, molto importante pensare che tutto quello che facciamo assorbe e consuma delle risorse di questo pianeta, che non sono risorse illimitate, sono risorse in qualche maniera abbastanza contenute. Non possiamo più strafare. Da un po' di tempo lo sappiamo che non possiamo più usare con inefficienza e senza preoccupazione le risorse di questo pianeta. E sappiamo anche che una delle risorse più importanti di questo pianeta è lo spazio, è l'aria che respiriamo, che sentiamo attorno di noi. Non possiamo quindi continuare a ingombrare di cose che non servono, di cui non abbiamo bisogno, di cui nessuno ha veramente bisogno. Questo è la cosa più importante. Questo è l'obiettivo oggi del design e dell'architettura. Allora, non mi dispiace più non sapere bene se sono un designer o un architetto o un artista. Mi va bene, io sono uno che ha a che fare con le cose, siano piccole cose, siano lampade, tavoli, computer, siano grandi architetture, palazzi, grandi costruzioni, spazi pubblici o spazi privati, non importa, sono tutti oggetti e io mi occupo di questi oggetti che devono avere un significato e sto cercando dei significati per gli oggetti in maniera che quando arrivano, quando occupano un po' di spazio di questo pianeta, quando consumano un po' di aria, bene, non siano considerati inutili, anzi siano considerati indispensabili per il significato che quegli oggetti hanno, per il significato che quei prodotti o quelle architetture hanno e rappresentano. E tutti le devono capire, tutti devono poter apprezzare e godere di un significato che mettiamo dentro gli oggetti, mettiamo dentro le architetture e che sappiamo è indispensabile per l'evoluzione di questo mondo, per lasciare alle prossime generazioni un mondo migliore di quello che abbiamo ricevuto noi. Grazie.
谢谢。
Thank you. Thank you, Mikhail. Sincerity. Thank you very much for your sincere and very detailed sharing. In his presentation, we can see how much he loves design and his thoughts on design and how design is connected to the world. And I hope everything is going well for Mr. Mikhail. Now let's welcome VSP Designer Institute and the designer director, Mr. Ranford Pittini, to bring us a keynote speech, Design and Art, Influence and Inspirations. Thank you. Welcome.
Stefano Piantini, thanks again, who was not today in the morning meeting. Welcome again. I'm the head of Vodafieri Saverino Partner, a company founded in 1998 in Italy, with a base here in Shanghai, in China. Today, I mean, it's a very hard mission to talk after Michele De Lucchi. It's a master of architecture, he's a master of design. It's an inspiration for all of us. And with the group Memphis, basically they rebuilt the design system in Italy. In the 80s, they break the system and they create a wonderful wave of new ideas and new atmosphere on the design. Today I'm humbly talking about art and architecture. There was a funny talk yesterday night that we were mentioning art, architecture, which is the boundary. What is art? What is architecture? Today actually it's easy to sometimes mistake architecture with art, but at the same time they are two sciences, both made by creativity, but so far different in somehow. When we saw, for example, sorry, a bit of us, I tried to identify are architecture for art, then art for architecture, architectonical art in somehow, and places for art. These are the four topics that I will talk later in. And for example, we were talking yesterday night was funny because they said, but look at Zaha Hadid, look at Frank Gehry, this is art. I say, no, this is truly architecture. It's a wonderful architecture, it's a pure expression of architecture, but there are all the ingredients to be an architecture. There are structures that are in the right position, there is a functionality, there are windows, there are light. Is everything combined to be a beautiful space, an important space, like Michele De Lucchi said, an indispensable space, not only a disposable space. If we look at architecture for art, there is a building that for many years has been considered very ugly, but at the same time today is one of the masterpieces of architecture, and is made by Renzo Piano, and it's the Beaubourg in the Centre Pompidou in Paris, in France. This building is pure architecture, has been basically dedicated to art. It's a space where the art fit well. Why? Because you create floors that have no structure in the middle. You have a space where the artist can do an exhibition with a full space available, and the architecture is put in a second place. The first place is art, and to exhibit art. The wonderful idea was also to keep all the functionalities, the appliances, the cables, pipes and so on outside the building. That was a sort of boom in that moment for the architectural system, and that's why it's so important, this building, for the art exhibition, for art expression, and to give importance to another kind of creativity. Again, here are a few exhibitions. It's really interesting how the space that is the same can be declined to host different exhibitions and different collections of art. And then there is art for architecture. Architecture needs inspirations. Architects need to be inspired. Architects need to find, even today, looking what is around us, inspiration, and try to define what can bring us to a next stage. In the early 20s in Europe, there was a movement, the Stil, that was basically declining art and architecture in a way that was truly inspiring. You know perfectly the artist and the painting we are talking about. This was a representation, one of the best representation of art in that moment. And again, what has been created from this art, it's impressive. There were chairs, tables, and again, spaces dedicated and declined watching that art. But everything started from an art movement. So it's really important that art influence architecture, inspire architecture to create something remarkable, something unique, something that is unexpected in somehow. This brings us then today to a next theme that is artistic architecture. I believe that probably there are few people on earth that are able today to combine architecture and art. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them, but one remarkable person that is doing that is James Turrell. There was an art exhibition in Shanghai 1 year ago, a few years ago, about him, and was remarkable how he can use the space, how he can use an architecture to stimulate art. And it's truly art and architecture combined together. His greatness is to emphasize the light and to dedicate the light to the building itself. There is no boundary in this sense between architecture and art. It's a fluid, immersive experience that combines together art and architecture. His spaces declined in different ways, but they always bring a surprise when you enter in these kind of spaces. It's an immersive experience. You don't have objects, you don't have furniture, you have only space, pure lighting, and emotions. is a sort of belief that art can bring value to your own space. Even today, we have a piece of art here nearby, so art can bring an added value to the architecture, but it's really important, it's truly important to create a space that brings you inside this atmosphere and let you feel that the art is placed in the right way. We did a house apartment in Milan that truly was started from the art collection of the owner. The owner owned these kind of pieces of design, pieces of paintings and so on, and he asked us basically to combine them together. And the real hard mission was to find a proper dimension for every of these pieces. Again, there were also pieces that were very funny, very humble, but without a sort of smile also in the furniture, in the decoration, these pieces were lost in the space. Again, here a bit of the view of what happened. So basically, the real essence of architect and art has to be a combination. It could be an inspiration, it could be something linked together, and so on. But the true feeling is that as architects, we need to have art to be inspired, to play with, and to create wonderful spaces with a plus, with something that is more than design, is more than an object, but create a story that gives value to the house today, to the spaces today, to offices today, and so on. This is Melita. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Stefano.
Thank you, Mr. Stefano.
You felt a lot of pressure after Mr. Michela De Luce, but you really made a very excellent and inspiring one. Thank you. Thank you again. 谢谢你的分享。
Thank you for sharing. I don't know whether you have noticed that with the improvement of lifestyle, consumers are focusing more on experience, especially the full area scenario. So the concept has been continuously and increasingly increased. I am myself on stage. I have participated in Alice and other dramas. I have also participated in the Broadway, the music drama, the Sound of Silk Road in Xi'an City. I am quite curious at how the real scenario entertainment will develop. Now we will invite the next speaker, who is from then his topic is how the impact of a location based on entertainment design on industry. Let's welcome Randall Foster Ewing from Thinkwell, Asian Area Design.
Design Forum, and I'm quite humbled to be speaking. The speakers today have been inspiring, and I hope you'll find at least something remotely interesting in what I'm talking about today. I'm going to start my timer because my wife tells me I can be a little long-winded, so I'm going to make sure that I'm efficient today in my discussion. Okay, so today I am talking about creating brand advocates, but in order to do that, I need to talk with you a little bit about what I do and a little bit about what my company does. I have been in theater. I've been a theater designer. I started out going to school for that and got into theme parks as my first job out of school. So I have been in theme parks now for over 25 years. And what my company does is we design guest experiences. So the question is going to be, how the heck does that relate to any kind of industrial experience, and specifically, how does it relate to creating brand advocates? So let me tell you a little bit about what we do, which is location-based entertainment. So this is not creating a product that gets distributed, but this is creating something that people come to see, a place where people are coming to have a very specific kind of experience. So, as I mentioned, I started out in things like live shows and spectaculars, and that put me into things like designing a attractions and full theme parks for a place for people to come and be entertained. As we worked on those over the years, our company, we had families, we had children, and we wanted to get involved in museum projects, and we moved into creating great guest experiences for museums as well. So indoor family entertainment, museums, live shows and spectaculars, even expos and Olympics. We're currently working on the USA Pavilion for the Expo in Dubai. But what I'm talking about today is another type of location-based experience, either a cultural center or specifically today I'm talking about brand centers and how that can be a great experience for your guest. So you may look at this and say, wait a minute, how does working on storylines for cartoon characters relate to some kind of industrial experience? And there is a place where these overlap, and that is a brand center. And this is a place where people can come to experience your brand in a way that you otherwise haven't given them. So I like to think of these as creating temples, creating a place where people can come and drink in your brand. There's some fantastic examples. This is the BMW Welt in Munich, of places where people can come to identify with a product that they may already have a wonderful, strong, personal, emotional affinity for. When we build these places, it's not just about building a beautiful building and showcasing the product inside. We want to create a place that is compelling, that will draw people in. And you can see I'm starting with examples of individuals who may not be all that enthusiastic about your brand initially. But the idea is to bring them into a compelling experience, show them a little bit behind the curtain, give them a great experience, give them something to learn or educate them a little bit about your product. Ideally, give them a way to participate in how that product is made, and then give them a way to partake or something that they can actually take away with them. So examples of this could be a museum, not a museum tour, but a factory experience where people are coming to see the factory being made, and that's for the general public. The general public might be doing that. We've also worked on projects like a Google Brand Lab where the audience member that we were looking for was actually another business, a client of Google, and they were looking at the guest experience of the client and how they would travel throughout the experience. Come in, maybe not very excited, but leave very excited and a new brand advocate. So, who is your audience and who is your guest? The easiest guest, the lowest hanging fruit, are those number one fans, the people that are already in love with your product. Those are the easy sells. And those aren't necessarily the people that we need to cater to. But we need to cater to a much broader demographic. We need to cater to all the people that they want to bring along. So we like to break them down into 3 different categories. I call them waders, swimmers, and divers. A wader is somebody who, they're kind of interested in your brand, but they just kind of want to go and have a good time and play in the water a little bit. They don't want to get all the way in. But a swimmer is somebody who gets in there and they go, this is great. I want to dive in and I want to splash around in the water and maybe even get my head in. But of course, those number one fans, those are the fans that want to get all the way in. They want to get deep. So, once again, how does creating stories around the Justice League or Warner Brothers, this is our park in Abu Dhabi, have anything to do with creating a factory tour experience or a brand center? Well, again, it's all about creating that fantastic guest experience journey. We want to bring people in and tell them a story along the way, and by the time they're done with that story, they leave with a smile on their face. So, the initial part of this is make it compelling. And I think what I'm talking about today in these brand experience centers, most of them are already inherently compelling. You've got a factory, you've got a brand, you've got a thing that people want to know more about. It's going to get them out of their chair. They want to know what's behind the curtain. They want to know how that product is made. And so how can we make that a more engaging experience? So I'm going to look at some various experiences. These are not ThinkWell projects. These are just projects that I love, and I think they're great examples. We're going to look at some automotive and some food industry examples. So the first ones, and I think the ones that first come to mind for myself, are the great automotive experiences that you can go to in Germany. There's some fantastic experiences, and as you can see, literally fantastic temples to the brand. But more than that, these are places that are compelling and that you can get behind the scenes, see how things are made, like at the Porsche factory tour. They have wonderful museum experiences that are engaging both for fans and non-fans, where you're learning about the history, even at the Mercedes Museum, going all the way back to how it's related to a horse and buggy and how that relates to the car of today. It's kind of a fascinating experience. But also the environments themselves are an environmental, beautiful experience as you engage with the product and the environment that they're placed in. Another way that these become great experiences, remember, it's not just about reading things, it's about participating in the experience. One of the wonderful ways that some of these brand centers do that is they actually deliver the product. This is a wonderful way that the product is delivered at Autostadt in Germany, where if you're buying a car there, you can go and buy it at the factory where there's this amazing vertical elevator that delivers your car to you. Some of the other ways, of course, to experience the product are actually to participate in an experience where you get to engage with that product. And I can tell you, after doing a Porsche experience where you learn about how to drive it, where you learn about the performance of the car, where you ride along with an expert who tells you how to drive it, you step out of that car a brand advocate, whether you were a Porsche fan or not before you went in. The same can be said for the Land Rover experience at Solihull. Wonderful experience riding in that car, a little scary when it goes off the cliff edge and nobody seems to be touching the steering wheel and it drives for itself. Also, when the water rises up around that wheel well, you leave that experience. I don't have a Land Rover, but I would recommend to you that you buy one because it was a wonderful experience and I found out it was a great product. So one of my examples here is the Ford Rouge factory, and they hit all these points. They hit the points of participation, where they have a large theatrical experience. They hit the point of showing you behind the curtain of how things are made, as well as learning about the company and some of the deeper aspects of the company. So you're learning about how things are made, you're learning about the history, and you're participating in these wonderful group experiences. There's also, this isn't exclusive to the automotive industry, there's also some wonderful experiences in the food industry. Some of my favorites are here with the World of Coke, which is in Atlanta. After you learn about how it's made and you learn about the history, you get to partake of the product in a unique way where you taste different varieties from around the world, how the taste might change subtly, and you can mix and match as much as you want. It's been a very popular experience. For people who love the product, and even people who don't, but who love to drink, the Heineken experience is great as you learn how to bartend and you learn about the brand and you learn about the background. One of our favorites is the cup noodle experience, where you get to create your own cup of noodle and design it yourself, put your own mark on it, put the ingredients in it, and it's packaged up for you so you have your very own branded cup noodle experience, as well as learning about the history of it. This is one that I think hits all of these touch points. And this is Maestrani's Chocolarium, and this is in Switzerland. It does a great job of telling their story, and as guests participate, and they learn, and they partake, it creates a magical story. This is a place where I don't just want to take my kids, but I want to go too because it looks like it's fun to do. I'm going to engage with it, and I'll bet that everyone who leaves here is telling their friends about it, and now they are buying that product more than they did in the past. But it gives you an understanding of where the product's made and kind of creates that temple to that product. So it hits all these wonderful points along the way of interactive experiences and participatory experiences and these partaking experiences. Now, there's another important part of partaking, and that is this is not just self-serving of selling merchandise, but when you're done with a great experience, you want to take something home with you to remind you of that experience. Maybe it's just a coffee mug that has the name of it on it, but you're going to remember every time you leave, that was cool, I went to that place, and it was a great experience, and we had a wonderful time. So the merchandise is a really wonderful part of this. Okay, so I'm going to finish here with something that we worked on. I'm not going to show you the Harry Potter studio tour. I'm going to show you the Backlot Tour for Warner Brothers. Now, this is for the film industry, but in the same way that we show how cars are made or how chocolate is made. After the guests go on a backlot tour of the Warner Brothers studio, we teach them about how films are made and what is that process. And we give them an opportunity to learn about it, and we give them an opportunity to participate in it and to partake of it as well. So we do that to begin with by talking about the art department and how films are made and production design. And this is a projection table where it comes to life and the production designer actually talks to the guests about what they do and what their job is and what they did to win that Oscar. Guests also learn about the costumes and they see artifacts from some of their favorite films, and they get to see the people behind those, not just what appeared on the screen, but actually the process of what it took to come up with that design and how to create that. And there's a deeper now appreciation for what goes into filmmaking. Not only that, there's some parts of the film that are not apparent, that you don't see up front. On this table, you get to be a casting director as you cast your own film and you pick headshots and put those things together. So you get to participate in this experience of casting a film. We also let guests experience a real film set, what it's like to walk on the set of Friends, a set that many people know, the famous television show from the 90s. We also teach them about the special effects and how those are made, but we don't just put it on a table where you read a didactic panel. We let guests participate in this experience. So they get to get on this Batmobile or this Bat cycle, and a little video is taken of them that's now integrated into a video that they can take home with them. So they get to partake of this product. They get to take it home with them. There's other places to learn about special effects and physical special effects, not just digital special effects. Guests get to learn about motion capture by actually puppeting themselves on a screen, and they see when they puppet, the puppet on the screen is reacted, and they see the steps of the process that goes through in the design phases. They see the scenery, they see the costumes, and they get a much better appreciation then for the final artifacts. They're very famous artifacts that they're all familiar with and they love. But of course, once they leave this experience, they've had a great time seeing all these different things, and we want to put them through a great retail space, not just to sell retail, but so that they can take that emotional memento home with them. So to wrap this up, in conclusion, if we're going to create a space, let's create a great guest journey. Have a great, compelling experience that people want to come to. Create a wonderful experience while we're there. Teach them a little bit about it. Make it an educational experience. They'll have a deeper understanding and appreciation for your brand or your product or your place. But allow them to get in the water a little bit. Allow them to participate, and then allow them to partake of that and take something home with them. So in conclusion, why would you do this? What is the point if it's not just a big ego project? Well, creating this temple gives your consumer, gives your guest, gives your audience a physical place to focus their idea of where the brand is and where the brand lives. It adds value to already existing assets. You already have a factory, you already have a place, and now you can highlight that and give the people who are already in love with your brand a place to go and teach other people about that and create a unique experience. You can't get this sitting on your couch at home. You've got to come to this place to experience this physical thing. And ultimately, one of the great reasons to do it is that when people come, they experience your story, they experience your brand, they leave as a brand advocate. So thank you for this opportunity to present. It's been a wonderful conference so far.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Randall Yuwing. Thanks for your wonderful speech. I think I learned a lot, and also I've partaken a lot from your speech. 感谢兰迪渊英先生为我们解读了各具特色的实景娱乐体验。接下来呢，我们将会有20分钟的茶歇时间，大家可以随意取用主办方准备的茶点、酒水，也可以跟我们现场的嘉宾自由的交流。20分钟后，我们将回到这里继续我们的分论坛议程。等会儿见。We're gonna continue the forum after the tea break in 20 minutes. So, see you soon. 我们的茶点。
He's sharing.
He has shared with us the impact of location-based entertainment design industry. Now we have a 20-minute coffee break. You may engage in interaction with other guests. After 20 minutes, we will resume our session.
Break in 20 minutes. So, see you soon.
中央政治局委员、重庆市委书记陈敏尔在全市经济工作会议上指出，重庆要更加重视工业设计，提升带动企业转型升级。作为内陆首个国家级开发开放新区，两江新区拥有雄厚的高端装备制造、智能智慧等产业基础。2020年9月，陈敏尔书记在两江新区李家悦来片区调研时，对悦来国际会展城发展工业设计产业给予了充分肯定，并要求发挥会展+的联动效应，为重庆制造业高质量发展赋能。位于嘉陵江畔的悦来国际会展城是重庆两江新区开发开放的核心平台，正围绕会展+设计理念，策划一展、一会、一赛、一园，发挥以落户悦来国际会展城深圳无限空间设计集团的产业引领和四川美术学院国际设计学院的人才保障优势，力争到2025年基本形成设计人才的培训地、设计企业的集聚地、设计产品的展示地、设计信息的发布地、优秀设计的生产地，努力成为重庆打造设计之都的发动机。今天，2020重庆悦来国际设计论坛和2020重庆工业设计创新成果展在悦来国际会展城隆重召开。来自意大利等多个国家和国际设计组织机构的600余名嘉宾齐聚悦来国际会展城，邀请全球设计领域、国际国内设计行业组织专家代表，共同探讨设计驱动、产业创新为经济赋能的发展之道，聚焦设计加生命科学、设计重塑产业价值等话题，开展线上线下同步对话。同时，在悦设创意展示中心举办2020重庆工业设计创新成果展，展出重庆市优秀工业设计产品和重庆市2020工业设计大赛部分作品，让设计为重庆产业助力，让设计为重庆经济赋能。创造、创新、赋能天才，让我们携手共筑生机勃勃的美好未来。近者悦，远者来，重庆悦，世界来。万古奔腾的长江和蜿蜒秀美的嘉陵江，孕育出一座闻名世界的山水之城——重庆。重庆作为中西部唯一直辖市，国家重要现代制造业基地，有着坚实的制造业基础，在医疗设备、航天航空、工业互联网、汽车产业、工业装备、智能机器人等领域取得了显著的成绩。2019年底，中央政治局委员、重庆市委书记陈敏尔在全市经济工作会议上指出，重庆要更加重视工业设计，提升带动企业转型升级。作为内陆首个国家级开发开放新区，两江新区拥有雄厚的高端装备制造、智能智慧等产业基础。2020年9月， 陈敏尔书记在两江新区李家悦来片区调研时，对悦来国际会展城发展工业设计产业给予了充分肯定，并要求发挥会展+的联动效应，为重庆制造业高质量发展赋能。位于嘉陵江畔的悦来国际会展城是重庆两江新区开发开放的核心平台，正围绕会展+设计理念，策划一展、一会、一赛、一园，发挥以落户悦来国际会展城深圳无限空间设计集团的产业引领和四川美术学院国际设计学院的人才保障优势，力争到2025年，基本形成设计人才的培训地、设计企业的集聚地、设计产品的展示地、设计信息的发布地、优秀设计的生产地，努力成为重庆打造设计之都的发动机。今天，2020重庆悦来国际设计论坛和2020重庆工业设计创新成果展在悦来国际会展城隆重召开。来自意大利等多个国家和国际设计组织机构的600余名嘉宾齐聚悦来国际会展城，邀请全球设计领域、国际国内设计行业组织专家代表，共同探讨设计驱动产业创新为经济赋能的发展之道，聚焦设计加生命科学、设计重塑产业价值等话题，开展线上线下同步对话。同时，在悦设创意展示中心举办2020重庆工业设计创新成果展，展出重庆市优秀工业设计产品和重庆市2020工业设计大赛部分作品，让设计为重庆产业助力，让设计为重庆经济赋能。创造、创新、赋能天才，让我们携手共筑生机勃勃的美好未来。近者悦，远者来，重庆悦，世界来。万古奔腾的长江和蜿蜒秀美的嘉陵江，孕育出一座闻名世界的山水之城——重庆。重庆作为中西部唯一直辖市，国家重要现代制造业基地，有着坚实的制造业基础，在医疗设备、航天航空、工业互联网、汽车产业、工业装备、智能机器人等领域取得了显著的成绩。2019年底，中央政治局委员、重庆市委书记陈敏尔在全市经济工作会议上指出，重庆要更加重视工业设计，提升带动企业转型升级。作为内陆首个国家级开发开放新区，两江新区拥有雄厚的高端装备制造、智能智慧等产业基础。2020年9月，陈敏尔书记在两江新区李家悦来片区调研时，对悦来国际会展城发展工业设计产业给予了充分肯定，并要求发挥会展+的联动效应，为重庆制造业高质量发展赋能。位于嘉陵江畔的悦来国际会展城是重庆两江新区开发开放的核心平台，正围绕会展+设计理念，策划一展、一会、一赛、一园，发挥以落户悦来国际会展城深圳无限空间设计集团的产业引领和四川美术学院国际设计学院的人才保障优势，力争到2025年， 基本形成设计人才的培训地、设计企业的集聚地、设计产品的展示地、设计信息的发布地、优秀设计的生产地，努力成为重庆打造设计之都的发动机。今天，2020重庆悦来国际设计论坛和2020重庆工业设计创新成果展在悦来国际会展城隆重召开。来自意大利等多个国家和国际设计组织机构的600余名嘉宾齐聚悦来国际会展城，邀请全球设计领域、国际国内设计行业组织专家代表，共同探讨设计驱动、产业创新为经济赋能的发展之道，聚焦设计加生命科学、设计重塑产业价值等话题，开展线上线下同步对话。同时，在悦设创意展示中心举办2020重庆工业设计创新成果展，展出重庆市优秀工业设计产品和重庆市2020工业设计大赛部分作品，让设计为重庆产业助力，让设计为重庆经济赋能。创造、创新、赋能天才，让我们携手共筑生机勃勃的美好未来。近者悦，远者来，重庆悦，世界来。万古奔腾的长江和蜿蜒秀美的嘉陵江，孕育出一座闻名世界的山水之城——重庆。重庆作为中西部唯一直辖市，国家重要现代制造业基地，有着坚实的制造业基础，在医疗设备、航天航空、工业互联网、汽车产业、工业装备、智能机器人等领域取得了显著的成绩。2019年底，中央政治局委员、重庆市委书记陈敏尔在全市经济工作会议上指出，重庆要更加重视工业设计，提升带动企业转型升级。作为内陆首个国家级开发开放新区，两江新区拥有雄厚的高端装备制造、智能智慧等产业基础。2020年9月，陈敏尔书记在两江新区李家悦来片区调研时，对悦来国际会展城发展工业设计产业给予了充分肯定，并要求发挥会展+的联动效应，为重庆制造业高质量发展赋能。位于嘉陵江畔的悦来国际会展城是重庆两江新区开发开放的核心平台，正围绕会展+设计理念，策划一展、一会、一赛、一园，发挥以落户悦来国际会展城深圳无限空间设计集团的产业引领和四川美术学院国际设计学院的人才保障优势，力争到2025年，基本形成设计人才的培训地、设计企业的集聚地、设计产品的展示地、设计信息的发布地、优秀设计的生产地，努力成为重庆打造设计之都的发动机。今天，2020重庆悦来国际设计论坛和2020重庆工业设计创新成果展在悦来国际会展城隆重召开。来自意大利等多个国家和国际设计组织机构的600余名嘉宾齐聚悦来国际会展城，邀请全球设计领域、国际国内设计行业组织专家代表，共同探讨设计驱动、产业创新为经济赋能的发展之道， 聚焦设计加生命科学、设计重塑产业价值等话题，开展线上线下同步对话。同时，在乐社创意展示中心举办2020重庆工业设计创新成果展，展出重庆市优秀工业设计产品和重庆市2020工业设计大赛部分作品，让设计为重庆产业助力，让设计为重庆经济赋能。创造、创新、赋能、天才，让我们携手共筑生机勃勃的美好未来。近者悦，远者来，重庆悦，世界来。万古奔腾的长江和蜿蜒秀美的嘉陵江，孕育出一座闻名世界的山水之城——重庆。重庆作为中西部唯一直辖市，国家重要现代制造业基地，有着坚实的制造业基础，在医疗设备、航天航空、工业互联网、汽车产业、工业装备、智能机器人等领域取得了显著的成绩。2019年底，中央政治局委员、重庆市委书记陈敏尔在全市经济工作会议上指出，重庆要更加重视工业设计，提升带动企业转型升级。作为内陆首个国家级开发开放新区，两江新区拥有雄厚的高端装备制造、智能智慧等产业基础。2020年9月，陈敏尔书记在两江新区李家悦来片区调研时，对悦来国际会展城发展工业设计产业给予了充分肯定，并要求发挥会展+的联动效应，为重庆制造业高质量发展赋能。位于嘉陵江畔的悦来国际会展城是重庆两江新区开发开放的核心平台，正围绕会展+设计理念，策划一展、一会、一赛、一园，发挥以落户悦来国际会展城深圳无限空间设计集团的产业引领和四川美术学院国际设计学院的人才保障优势，力争到2025年，基本形成设计人才的培训地、设计企业的集聚地、设计产品的展示地、设计信息的发布地、优秀设计的生产地，努力成为重庆打造设计之都的发动机。今天，2020重庆悦来国际设计论坛和2020重庆工业设计创新成果展在悦来国际会展城隆重召开。来自意大利等多个国家和国际设计组织机构的600余名嘉宾齐聚悦来国际会展城，邀请全球设计领域、国际国内设计行业组织专家代表，共同探讨设计驱动、产业创新为经济赋能的发展之道，聚焦设计加生命科学、设计重塑产业价值等话题，开展线上线下同步对话。同时，在乐社创意展示中心举办2020重庆工业设计创新成果展，展出重庆市优秀工业设计产品和重庆市2020工业设计大赛部分作品，让设计为重庆产业助力，让设计为重庆经济赋能。创造、创新、赋能、天才，让我们携手共筑生机勃勃的美好未来。近者悦，远者来，重庆悦， 世界来。万古奔腾的长江和蜿蜒秀美的嘉陵江，孕育出一座闻名世界的山水之城——重庆。重庆作为中西部唯一直辖市，国家重要现代制造业基地，有着坚实的制造业基础，在医疗设备、航天航空、工业互联网、汽车产业、工业装备、智能机器人等领域取得了显著的成绩。2019年底，中央政治局委员、重庆市委书记陈敏尔在全市经济工作会议上指出，重庆要更加重视工业设计，提升带动企业转型升级。作为内陆首个国家级开发开放新区，两江
和我们分享的这位嘉宾，他同样来自于意大利，他是米兰理工设计学院 Poly Design 教授 Mr. Luca Fois 卢卡·福伊斯先生。在视频里，他不仅会分享他与中国的渊源，同时也会分享他怎么样为儿童玩具设计创造价值。请看大屏幕。
I am Luca Fois, professor of Politecnico di Milano in event design and co-director of the International Master in Design for Kids and Toys, and of Polydesign, that is the consortium of Master by Politecnico di Milano Design School. In addition, I was the co-founder.
Professor Mr. Luca Fois. And in the video, he will share with us his relationship with China and also his experience in toy design. Please watch the big screen.
Politecnico di Milano in event design and co-director of the International Master in Design for Kids and Toys, and of Polydesign, that is the consortium of Master by Politecnico di Milano Design School. In addition, I was the co-founder of the important circuit in design. The name is Zona Tortona, and this was a very big project of revaluation of a territory, of an industrial zone in the city, and becomes a very important location and destination in the world about design and fashion. I am also member of the board of CILAB, Creative Industries Lab of Politecnico di Milano, and this is a research laboratory in which we work about very different topics about what is cultural industries. That means many kind of works and skills dedicated to culture. And this is a really important and international interesting research field. Culture is a topic in all the world, a universal need, and so we have to understand very good people, and culture needs to understand people, and culture allow to understand people, each other, and to speak about natural and social environment. Culture is in China and in Chongqing. I am working in China for many years, doing lesson, advisory, consultancy, and there are 3 years that I am working with Nanjing, a very important Nanjing project in Pukou. The name is NAMI, Creative and Collaborative Co-Village Nanjing Milano. Will be a very big design center. The next year will be ready to start, the building will be ready to start to do a very strong collaboration between China and Italy. And we decided to use Nanjing name and the Milano name as a symbol of the collaboration of China and Milano, all the collaboration of China and Milano. In NAMI, we will develop the relation in science, technology, architecture, design, innovation, and culture. Also art is very important. So NAMI will become a design center in which the collaboration between Chinese and people culture and skills will be very, very strong and important. Design means culture and method to project, and is a very important bridge between different culture and different countries, and so we have to develop the design culture in the world. I am also starting to collaborate with the Henan University Cultural Heritage Creative Industries Research Institute with Professor Emma Chen Höfler, that I am very happy to work in this, because heritage is an important field of collaboration between people, and the innovation of a collaboration is really important, a multidisciplinary discipline and approach to innovate the heritage in a new language able to engage the young generation. Heritage not only have to be protected, but have to be renewed in the language, in the event, in the engagement, so young people can come and approach and know and have experience about the local and global heritage. Design have to work for a better life for everybody in the world, and so designing becomes day by day, year by year more important to help humanity to build a better world, a better life. For this reason, I speak now about my experience in design for kids and toys. I started in 2003 to speak about design related to kids, because never was in the market this relation, strictly relation between design and kids, because kids market is so strongly market oriented and not so really design oriented. What means this? Means that the kids are the user of product, of toys, of services, but they are not the buyer. The buyer are the adults. So all the company looks at the buyer, and so marketing, that is the discipline to sell, is looking more to the adults that buy than to put the kids in the center of our research of design to create good product, good toys, good services. Good services for the kids, and this is very important. And why kids design? Because the kids are so strategic for in the world, because kids are the future, and better kids will create better society. And so we need to put the children in the center of the research, because the children are the user of product, toys and services. And design for kids start from this topic to the scientific and human approach, the kids in the center of all the projects dedicated to them. Our mission is to recognize design for kids and toys as a culture and a standard method in the world, balancing the needs and wants of the market. This is very strategic for every country in the world. You must understand that most products and services for kids are market-oriented only, and neither design-oriented, nor user-oriented. At the same time, parents and caregivers demand more and more quality of toys, products, and services for kids. This is the strategy of design for kids and toys, to help the company and the customer to have better and better product and services for kids. We wrote also an important document, that is the Toys Design Manifesto, that are 66 theses about how to design a product for children. And then we synthesized this in 20 directives for design for kids. And we are translated also in China. this kind of document because it's the base to think to children products and services. We are also managing and founded a master, an international master, completely in e-learning in design for kids and toys. And we are looking to train, and we are training this year many professionals, designers, architects, teachers, caregivers, and also parents to learn the holistic and at the same time specialistic skills, putting the real interest of kids as a goal of design. We have more than 7 skills in our master. This master is completely in e-learning for 10 months and then 2 months of real workshop with international company. In this field, we also have educated several young designers who are now working in the market and providing them new vision. In short, our activities around the manifesto are increasing, highlighting and creating value for the design for kids and toys. Design can help the business, firstly, and through the good business can give better experience for the customers and users and create virtuous circle, creating better relation between children and adults and better relation between people and the social and natural environment. The world is too complex and difficult, and we can live a better life only with a great collaborative practice and approach. The individualistic era have to transform in a collaborative era and philosophy. This is the real topics and the strategic issue of our era. Kids are the future, and the first 1000 days for children are the most important days to build the personality and the identity of each. In the crucial and dedicated period starting from the pregnancy, our brain is white and each experience bad or good, write a neuronal street in our brain and the basic neuronic maps of our brain, of our personality, of our way to think and decide our action. For this reason, the welcome period of a baby is something really important and strategic to well manage by parents and by the whole society, the global society. Better kids will build better society. So it's clear that to well educate all the caregivers, from parents to grandparents, from designer to company, is a very strategic and systemic. I can say that design for kids is the most strategic and systemic design of the world. From old masters such as Bruno Munari, I learned the cultural approach, focusing on the creativity of kids, understanding the principle of their multi-skilling and their intelligence, respecting their unique personality and introducing the mix of education and entertainment. We have created also a cultural movement named Kid Nascimento, the Renaissance of kids, and we are building an international network about this value, about kids, and we have nominated many kids design ambassadors of our manifesto, translated also in Chinese. In 2020 we organized 2 important international digital workshops in different countries: China, Argentina, Mexico, India, Australia, Spain, Brazil, and obviously Italy with the local university. In China with CAFA University in Beijing, with the China Academy of Fine Arts. You know very well this university. In Beijing, the Ningbo University, the Nottingham University, and Zhehan University of Ningbo Institute of Technology. This was our partner and will be also partner in the future for the workshop, research and courses. This multi-workshop was a very successful, innovative and global experience matching different international culture and design approach. Kids are an international topic. Next year, with our master, we will organize again some multi-workshops that are very, very important and very rich. I'm also happy to be a coach for many Chinese students in Milano and to be partner in many jury, many jury of design contests in China. And I see in this show, and I see now in many experience in China that Chinese design are growing day by day, and now is in very good level for the innovation of the traditional of China, in technological innovation, but also in service and system design. This is really important, this global and holistic approach of design in China is very good. I see many good designers in China and in Italy, my student. Another aspect in the fair sector of children in Nuremberg and in Hong Kong is the trend to create more quality in kids' product and services and less quantity. It's very important to work about quality because the parents, the client needs and asks more quality than quantity. Today, innovation means also sustainability. In my opinion, the future market is the one that is wise and conscious about the natural and social environment. And this is the new frontier in design work, in design skills. Many companies have understood that there is both financial and ethical profit, not only financial profit, but also ethical profit that create also financial profit. Of course, earning profit is important for most companies, but we have to bear in mind that without a new holistic and systemic approach of the management of natural resources, companies may face new problems and even lose profit. So I recommend young designers to be courageous and creative in this direction. It involves a deep change related to culture and social tradition of each country, as well as to business approach, teaching approach, and family care approach. So I think that the design bridge between our country, China, and Italy will grow and grow with the new generation, able to build a better world, analyzing and find solutions to the global and local problems, respecting the social and natural environment. We have to build and to increase a collaboration era from people and skills in every part of the world. I hope to have some students next year in my master that starts in January from Chongqing, so to be able to organize a workshop also in your city, with your university, with your professional, your teacher, and to return in your city as soon as is possible. I miss your city, I miss China, and so I hope to come in China as soon as is possible. Thanks to be invited to speak to you, and good luck for your activities and projects. Best regards and wishes all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas Foyce 先生，他的视频分享。刚刚福伊斯先生的几声咳嗽，有没有让大家更清醒一些？看得出来是一个非常真性情的教授。我们也看到了这样一位设计师的情怀和初心。儿童设计呢，确实也更应该从孩子的需求出发。我们已经聆听了很多国外设计师的分享，接下来呢，我们将邀请一位非常优秀的中国本土设计师分享他的想法。
To speak to you, and good luck for your activities and projects. Best regards and wishes all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just now, has refreshed from his speech. He is quite sincere in sharing his experience, and we know that the children's design should start with the children. We have listened to many foreign speakers. Next, we would like to invite an excellent Chinese speaker to share with us his experience. The most influential designer, according to Forbes, and the founder and creative director of a Young House and Young Design, Jamie Young. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to be here to share my experience with you on industrial design. My topic is more virtual, more real in digital era. Why is this? I would like to start with the museum first. It was founded in 2003 in Shanghai by myself. And it's like an excavation site. 7 years ago, I transformed an old plant into a museum. And before that, I spent over 10 years for collecting thousands of industrial items. There are 3 pavilions inside the museum, including history, modern times, and the future. And we can find the different groups from different areas. In different areas, they have different living styles and aesthetic styles. If we follow times, on the left, we can see there are a lot of complicated carvings. It's a phonograph. It's like an antique furniture. And on the right side, we can see the lines have been more clear and simple. It's also a phonograph. And in front of the speaker, it's an aluminum plate. If we compare the two, we can find that in different times, the left one, at the beginning of the handcraft era, it's an appliance and furniture, a complicated one. And on the right side, whose history is shorter, it looks like a cabinet. And we can see here, this is a Electrola SK4 of Braun. It was produced in 1956 by Dieter Rams, the design director of Braun. It's referred to as a coffin of the white, and it doesn't look like a furniture anymore. If Dieter Rams, if he studied industrial design, he proposed less is more, the concept, and he discarded meaningless lines. He only maintains the meaningful lines. He only maintains the lines that are meaningful to him. And this product has affected many other designs to come. For example, Apple. Jonathan, design director of Apple, said that the design language is originated from Braun in Germany. And Apple's design has gained success in the commercial world. It has impacted many other designs. And in the museum, there are many other items. For example, there are phones in different times, the different communication tools. And later, we know there are mobile phones instead of the fixed phones. From the different times, we have witnessed the development of the mobile phones. In 2002 and 2003, I work in Germany, and after graduation, I work in Siemens headquarters in Munich. At that time, there was a mobile phone with a brand of Siemens, whose sales were very huge. And we also have Ericsson, Nokia, and Sony mobile phones then. That was those were before the birth of smartphones. And the department I work is one of the largest industrial design in the world. They design for the trains, medical devices, and communication devices and even household appliances. And every year we will gather the brainstorm from designers for a new generation of mobile phones. At that time, we design the different mobile phones. For example, the curved shape of a Nokia. We also have the different mobile phones with different caps, and we spent a lot of time on researching buttons for the convenience of the use. In 2007, suddenly, iPhone, the first generation, came into birth. Then we found that there were tremendous changes in telecommunication industry. Siemens mobile phones were sold to a Taiwanese company. This is a time for digital era. We come into the digital age. From the phonograph, it has witnessed two industrial revolutions, and then we come to the internet revolution. We have a new age, digital age. Over the past decade, I believe all of us are puzzled by the digital age. It has quickened our pace of life and has brought more confusion and anxiety to our life. We have noticed those huge printers, cameras, radios, electronics, and TVs have been integrated into small screens, small smartphones. They have been digitalized. And in the digital age, what is the feature of a digital age? We have established the complete emulation of the real physical world in a digital virtual world, and we have the interaction between the virtual world and the real physical world so as to improve efficiency. For example, the GPS navigation. We have the digitalization of our place. And this is a great transformation, and the process will continue, and maybe one day humans will be digitalized. I have shared with a German friend. The German friend showed me his vest. He told me that it's a chip. He said he himself is half human and half machine. The chip can be collected into his mobile phones. We have watched the soap opera which describe the terminal world. Maybe one day there will be an integrated human or synthetic human, just like we have transformed now, surpassing our ancestors. And this kind of a transformation has transformed design and impacted design in different areas such as entertainment, education, manufacturing field. I would like to share with you with house vision.
I'd like to show you firstly a video. Now please turn on the sound. Please help me to play the video. The video subtitles are in a certain area. I think the group is their home. They're designing a home based on their forward-looking opinions on energy. And the house vision talks about how to store and use energy in the future. the museum that we have seen is actually built out of my own interest. From the antiques and older products I can find in a certain area, in a certain ethnic group, their lifestyles, aesthetics, and history and culture. I want to know the stories behind that, the history, the culture of how people build the world and how the world develops. And I want more people to visit that and know this history. House vision concept is called greenhouse. And we planted vegetables, plants in this house, and the surplus energies are turned into light and water, which can cultivate the plants and that can be eaten by the people. It's not just a natural design, but also a communication of human emotion connection, which follows the principle of sustainable development. What I have been thinking about is how to make design sustainable. Thank you. Just now you saw in a video my sharing of firstly the industrial museum and secondly my second case that I'm going to share today, the house vision. House vision, just now the people talking about that project was from Japan, Tokyo, in 2018. This this exhibition was shown in Beijing, and he invited some designers and artists to cooperate in his program. And this project is mainly about how to design and make our future home and what should be the conceptual home be based on. And I am one of the designers, industrial designers, and those were invited. And you can see here are other designers, industrial designers, which were also invited by him to collaborate on that project. So we altogether 10 designers worked together in Beijing, and we worked on the design of this greenhouse. And this is the space that is built. My design space is called the greenhouse. And the topic for this project this year is called New Gravity. And my understanding of new gravity is the world that we are in is turning from agriculture civilization, industrial civilization into the digital civilization, and this is based on the technology of internet, which is changing our life, just like a new form of gravity, which is very usual. We see that every day, and it affects us every day, and ubiquitous, but maybe not notified by everybody. And we start to think about the question that in these two worlds, the virtual digital world and that real physical world, and how are artificial and virtual efficiency and nature and real reality and emotions be connected. So my plan is about an arrangement of the house in which vegetables can be arranged and planted. It is vegetables are planted by lighting and water that were turned from surplus energy in a house. This is the scenario in such a house. So this provides a new possibility of using the energy sustainably. Our world is becoming more fragmented, which means in our home, in our community, can actually have smaller power stations that supply the power of each household. And if we split the big power station into fragmented ones, just like this. This might provide another developing direction for future agriculture. It is also smart. It can be managed. The vegetable garden can be managed through an intelligent mobile phone. The world is developing very rapid, effective, but at the same time indifferent. There were less emotion connections between human and human, so we can manage this vegetable, but we can connect to this vegetable garden. We can connect to our family, which are living in this house. We may not be living in this house, but we can connect to this house, and we manage the vegetable together with our families. And this is a good way for family emotion, for family connection. I live in Shanghai, but my families may live in Chongqing. So we are in two different cities, but through a certain way they can connect with each other connected by internet and smartphones. That is how internet actually bring people closer to each other. So what I want to express through this project is, I think a good design should make the public feel positive enlightenment. And house vision, the purpose of house vision is not to move people by architecture, but rather it aims to provide enlightenment to its audience with a very sincere attitude and refined design by focusing on how technology bring our life visualized. The development of technology should make people and nature more friendly rather than more antagonistic. The next project I want to share is, let's first watch the video. Can you please play the video for me? Okay, the video just showed was one I designed for an interactive equipment. It is called the inspiration of light. I want to express the relationship between human and nature. Every behavior that we give are feedbacks to the nature. It is actually powerful and informative. What we see in a video was a scaffold, which is made up of small units, as is shown on this slide. I designed this a small unit because I went to many exhibitions. And at the end of the exhibition, we always throw something away. We threw some equipment and devices away. And this may give me the inspiration to think about how we can maybe reuse that to make them not waste, so that we reduce the burden on our environment. From this small unit, it can grow up to a plant with life. It can grow up to for example, this is an example project in Suzhou. It was designed in the Suzhou gardens. It gives people a sense of virtueness and emptiness. So we use this design to replace the windows in Suzhou Garden, and we replace some of the windows in the gardens by using this design. And we have such structures in the Suzhou Gardens. So these it kept growing, and this is in the Hermes Shanghai flagship shop. And we use this concept and designed the exhibition for the 2019 activity, and we also did the design for the exhibition hall with the same structure.
And last year, we designed a big device in Shanghai. And we designed this device. When wind blows, the whole place will be brightened up. So we called it a branch garden. We hope that we can visualize the clean energy, and at that time, MIDI would like to launch a clean energy, a new energy vehicle, an electronic one. So from the cases, we have noticed that we call those devices a virtual one, and it represents an aesthetic design. It's highly efficient and detailed and targeted recombination. And the real counterpart is the feature of the Suzhou Garden. It's natural, and it will grow and wither by times. So in the whole process, whether it is integration or confrontation, actually the result is integration, and the final case is a confusing one. Is that how we view technologies. This is a case we designed. It's made of carbon fibers, and the cover in the front can be opened up. At that time, we proposed whether we can, and the case can follow the people automatically. And then we find that that kind of technology is redundant, because consumers will worry that whether the suitcases will be lost. But we never lose heart. After several years, we tried it in another project. We designed a children's vehicle, a toy vehicle, whether the vehicle can follow the kid video.
刚刚大家看到，这个童车很听话，然后就跟着他们走，然后有人担心，小孩会不会被偷走？不会，我们有警报装置。但是，虽然在第二个项目当中，我们把这种自动跟随技术给实现了，但是今天在我的脑海当中，我还是在疑惑，我们究竟应该如何去看待技术在设计的这个发展当中，它如何去应用？我觉得技术的发展，它是否会让我们的生活变得更加美好，是打一个问号的。这取决于我们对待技术的一种态度。技术终究它是一种手段和目的，手段和工具，它不是目的。我们不能为了技术而技术，因为在今天这个世界里面，我觉得技术已经成为了一种狂热的崇拜。这样的态度是否是对？我觉得我是抱有怀疑的。那人类的创造力，它可以借助。
And can we really utilize the technology to improve our life? And sometimes humans will be enslaved by technologies. This is not a beautiful world. The efficiency of the machines is quite a headache for human beings. For example, we have a online order from Meituan app. Those staff have been enslaved by those apps. When they wake up, they have to work. It's not humane. So in the different civilizations of agriculture, industry, and the digital age, we need to discuss the relationship between man and man and man and nature. And the relationship should be friendly and nice. It's not be confronted. That's all my sharing. Thank you. Thank you for your sharing. It's quite inspiring. And Mr. Yang have a question. The German friend, is his name Christian? He has a chip in his waist. He's also a friend of mine. Thank you. And Mr. Yang shared with us his ideas on virtual and real world, and he has shown us a lot of cases. And some people would consider how design would enrich our life. We will invite our last speaker from Jbl, Nicholas. Welcome.
Work at JBL at Harman owned brand, at a special design department called Human. And we are like among biggest design agencies in the world. We have more than 300 people working in design area, as well as like 7 different offices across the world. So yeah, this would be the topic that I will share with you today. I'm Serbian product and industrial designer who studied industrial design at Fachhochschule Nordwestschweiz in Switzerland. It's a fairly small school, I would say, with 100 people in 3 years of education, but the school that is very well organized with a great support from professors. The school at the time when I was studying was located in Aarau. It's again kind of small city. I would say like 30 minutes drive from Zurich, so it's somewhere in between Basel and Zurich. And nowadays it's located in Basel. But actually my story doesn't start there. My story starts, I would say, 24 years back in the past, before I even start studying my industrial design at this school. I was born in Kraljevo, again, a small city, like with roughly 60,000 inhabitants, let's say 170 kilometers far away from capital Serbia. The city is quite small, but with a great and big people, and really great history. For instance, 7 kings crowned through the history of Serbia on the territory of my hometown, as well as like NBA. Our area is the smallest area in the world, which gives the biggest number of NBA players. So to illustrate in that way, I would like to talk about city where I'm coming from. But from the perspective of Shenzhen, although this small city has big people, I think that's even hard to find it on a map. I was always being interested in industrial design, although I learned about industrial design and basically design itself much later, after several times when I needed to cut my hair because my professor for the School of Engineering didn't like it. So I realized that something in between engineering, which I was studying before, and something in between design that I wanted to approach is significantly different. So I kind of decided to maintain my hair even today, as you can see, but to do something that actually will bring me to totally another level of appreciation of myself and the products and design that I will share with you a little bit later. So somewhere in 2005, actually, it's like 15 years ago, I'm not that young, actually, I enrolled myself at Polytechnic Academy in Belgrade at the Department for Industrial Design, and to be very frank, I didn't like it at all. Through my high school education, I had a lot of theory, and I thought that design itself is much more vibrant. It's more about product. It's more about like how you can deal with product development, design development, doing something with your hands and something with the technology that at that time was present. But unfortunately, at this school, I could not reach that. In order to make somehow balance, as I was always interested in design and the culture and people itself, I organized several events, several cultural events on the territory of the Republic of Serbia. Some of them were in the capital of Serbia, in Belgrade. Some of them are located even nowadays, 15 years after. I established, for instance, the Street Art Festival in my hometown, which on a yearly basis have more or less, I would say, more than 20,000 people, which is quite big. Unfortunately, I do not work at that area as I'm in China at this point, but I'm very, very happy to know that something that is established by me and several other guys is still alive. This, I would say, cultural thing brought me to Switzerland, as I was accepted by UNESCO Committee of Switzerland to study intercultural communication education. And for a period of 9 months of studying this particular thing, I was kind of thrilled by the fact that the education in Switzerland is totally different. I really like grass. I really like iced tea there, and in particular, I like Swiss chocolate. So that actually kind of hooked me so much that I decided to try to continue my industrial design education in Switzerland. Everything what I have done in Belgrade, they didn't accept, but although they accepted my application, so I needed to start everything from the very beginning. That means that beside, again, the entire story, I needed to kind of find finance for my education, which actually I already invested in the school in Belgrade. And my father and my family basically were not that happy, but since I wanted to follow my dreams, I sold my apartment to pay my 3 years of basic life in Switzerland as a student and the scholarship that was not that cheap. So in 2009, I enrolled myself at that school, and after that, my design journey finally kind of started. I would say that the proper design journey finally started. So this is my school. This was my school, actually. Fachhochschule Nordwestschweiz, Hochschule für Gestaltung und Kunst, Institute Industrial Design. Very nice school, amazing school, school where professors are not professors, then professors are your teammates, where the students are not just students, but students are explorers of new possibilities in terms of the technology, in terms of everything what the design can bring. And they are fully supported by everyone who could support students. We have actually external partners, and that was one of the key features that we learned from people who are coming from industry, and not only something that comes through the theory from PhD professors and so on. And for the matter of fact, previously mentioned chocolate several times. Had a pivotal role here as well. So I was so hooked to my education that I actually like it in the same way like I like Swiss chocolate, which I actually like even today after a couple of years of it. Here I would like to share a couple of photos from the university where I studied. As I explained, the students have the great possibilities of studying, great possibilities of exploring things, great possibilities of improve themselves under the guidance and leaderships of people who are in charge for that and people who are very skilled about it. While I was studying, I had the chance to cooperate with several brands and several brands from different countries, among which one were Ricola from Switzerland, Saleva from Germany, or Elica from Italy, from Fabriano. And knowing the fact that we have a distinguished guest here who are related to Italian community and society of design and Chamber of Commerce, I would like to introduce the project that I have developed together with several designers from different universities. So basically the project was talking about, I would say, learning through the different cultures and different time zones, cooperation with our industrial partner Elica at the time, but at the same time we had the cooperation when we were kind of traveling to Mexico for a kickoff meeting, coming back, facing these cultural differences, but at the same time zones in very, very short period of time. This project in particular is something that I have designed together with my colleagues from Tecnologico de Monterrey and Wensheim University from Zwolle in Netherlands, and greatly supported by Elica Max, which I'm even thankful today. So this was my student project somewhere on the fourth grade of my education. But although, I had a successful cooperation with several brands already, and I have, I would say, several successful projects for a student level, which actually cannot compare with the stuff that I'm doing today after several years of experience in the industry. In 2013, I needed to send more than 400, in particular 425 applications for my first internship. If some of you learn about The Pursuit of Happiness, the movie with Will Smith, actually you can clearly see that the connection which I kind of lived in my own way through the facts that I needed to kind of fight for my dreams and so on, like the guy in the movie. Unfortunately, he is now very rich and still not, and I think that during design it's not going to be like one of the things that we should think of, but rather to create something that design actually can bring and actually can create some certain values for us as the designers and users later on. And that's how, I would say, after all of these emails, conversations, negotiations, and so on, I got an opportunity at Mannheim in Germany in a brand new design studio called Juno, a small design studio which actually is very innovative for the size of it, and due to the fact that I was actually the first intern there, somewhere in 2013, I had a chance to learn much more than I could ever imagine that I will learn, especially as a young person fresh from the university, given by such a great opportunity to work for different brands like Bernina from Switzerland or Tio from Hong Kong or Germany, or I would say Kaneki Bright or Idea International from Japan, brings a lot of experience in the different fields. And it's not about the final product that you can get there, but it's also about the journey, the design itself can bring. So after that, by working for a year I would say in UNO, I got an opportunity to continue my traineeship, unfortunately still not junior level. So, and by mentioning all of this, I would like to explain that a life of designer is not easy. And, you know, like by pursuing the design as something easy, kind of easy task, I guess it's not something that we should do, right? So demonstrating here, and I'm quite happy that we have in our crowd students, a lot of students, will maybe give us some additional encouragement for them to kind of go further and then improve themselves. So after that, I got that opportunity at N+P Industrial Design. N+P Industrial Design, previously called Neumeister & Partners, is, I would say, a famous European industrial design agency located in Munich. I believe that you already, if you're traveling by trains, you already had the chance to travel in some of the trains designed at that agency. People from Shanghai probably know the levitating train from the airport towards the city. It's also designed by a famous Neumeister partner agency during the 80s, and so on. I mean, excuse me. They have a lot of great products, and in particular, by working in N+P Industrial Design, I didn't learn only about design, but I learned about how to micromanage myself, how to kind of lead projects and lead everything what some senior or junior level designers should do. So it was kind of very encouraging and very great chance for me to learn and build up my knowledge. At N+P Industrial Design, I worked for several companies from Asia, including Samsung, including Haier, including Hitachi. And by working for companies and kind of supporting projects by the companies there, I basically knew that the next stop will be Asia. But beside that, I would like also to say that in smaller studios, like maybe you can see an example here, you do micromanaging yourself, you do great projects, you support senior or principal teams or manager teams and so on, but not only in the sphere of industrial design, but also in the sphere of photography, studio photography, and many other things that can basically decrease costs, but increase the value of you as a worker. So in this particular photo, this is not my design, but this is my photography, and this is design that I also supported. So I would like to show that many different things you can do in the area of design in order to kind of make yourself quite solid for the next stage. And as I mentioned previously, mentioned, there is a chance, like by working with different companies, to realize what would be your next step. And the next step for me was Asia. And today, I work in Shenzhen. I work in a lifestyle audio brand called Harman. We create many great products. And I believe that, like now, you're wondering why I talk so much about myself and why did I kind of expose myself so heavily today. But talking about myself, I didn't talk about myself itself. I talk about, I would say, the entire JBL brand designers who are designers of JBL brand, who are on a daily basis creating tons of different projects and concepts. And about talking about myself, I talk about SOA, I talk about Rafal, I talk about Laurent, I talk about Dario, I talk about Axel, I talk about Ron, Jerry, John, Johnny, and Drew. In total, 10 designers, and designers who are coming from more than five different nationalities, which actually, beside creating something that JBL stands for, great products, creating some great product for JBL, not because that JBL products are good and they have good marketing, but I personally believe that creating a good product is only possible if the story behind every single designer is rich, as I believe mine is. I would like to share some of designs that I have developed in the past almost 4 years at the JBL. So this is Jbl Link Music, one small home speaker. We in particular took about 1 year of development together with our partner for this particular product for a global market. It's Google, but also Tencent as our local support, partner for Chinese markets. So we have also the product with the Xiaowei. As well, the part of the family is Link Portable, the same speaker, which is by the name is also kind of portable. And I would say the great product which can be taken outside of the home, brought outside and played with family together and so on, right? And at the end, again, one of the award-winning products as well is a JBL Live 800, a TWS product that I also supported as a lead designer during the past couple of years, right? So showing this product is showing myself and showing the design team. It's very clear that we at JBL are the synergy in between East and West, that we are designers who are shaped by design, and we are designers who are shaping design for other people, and that is actually making us the #1 audio brand in the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nicola, for everything you talked about in your speech. Very touching and very interesting, and also very beautiful. 我相信在座的现场，可能有我们的观众，有一大部分的人有1个或者2个我们 JBL 的产品吗？是吗？有的我们举下手示意看看。哦，你看 ，they're all the users from JBL. Maybe they own 1 or 2 products from your JBL. OK， 感谢您的分享。那么刚刚听了前面嘉宾的分享，我们简短的回顾一下，不管是 Mr. Stefano 先生他关于建筑美学的一个解读，还是兰迪运英先生他介绍的实景娱乐设计，杨明坚先生描绘的数字设计愿景，尼古拉先生所展示的
and also very beautiful.
男嘉宾尼凯尔德鲁奇对设计卢卡福同设计重要性的表达，相信。
On 1 or 2 JBL products, please show me your hand if you own JBL products. Thank you for sharing. Just now we listened to the different speeches. We will have a recap. Mr. Stefano, he has analysis on architecture, aesthetics, and we also have the situation-based design. And Nicholas showed us the design's impact on life, and we also have the Mika Deluge, Luca Fuis sharing in their own design experience. I believe that you are quite interested in design. We shape the values. Then how the enterprises can gain commercial values and benefits through design and gain a balance. Next, we'll come into the roundtable forum. We will invite the speakers to come to the stage on this topic to improve the social values. Please get seated.
Speech, I remember, architecture for art, art for architecture, and artistic architecture. What do you think? What's the relationship between these three terms? 刚跟我说，Stefano 先生他在演讲。
The host is translating what she said just now.
Thank you for the question. Well, as I explained in the presentation, are three different themes that are very well combined, but very well different one to each other. Obviously, architecture for art is a matter to create a space that is dedicated for art. At the same time, art for architecture is an empower of basically the architecture, meaning get inspired and get more deep in the architectural design, knowing art and be inspired by art. And then the most difficult, artistic architecture, that is basically the capacity to translate art and architecture in the same element, in the same building or in the same piece of art somehow. As we see, for example, in a picture of a speech that went before me, there was the perfect city. It was a beautiful painting done in Italy many years ago. I think it was with the invention of the perspective in somehow. And that painting is actually architecture. I mean, there is a study of architecture behind, and it's also a piece of art related to architecture, and it's one of a kind in somehow.
I have to say the three terms, they are quite simple but quite inspiring, enlighten the people to think about the relationship. Thank you for your sharings. And the next question goes to Mr. Randall Yuwing. So you are an expert in physical entertainment design. In your opinion, what do you think? How physical entertainment design is more attractive compared to ordinary industrial design?
Well, I have to disagree a little bit with the question. I don't think it's more attractive than industrial design. I think it's solving a different problem. So I have a brother that I'm very close to, and he is a structural engineer. So he is a designer of aircraft. He works in aerospace. And yet, when we get together, we talk about design. And what we talk about are the similarities of the process. Design is a process of problem solving, identifying what you are trying to achieve, your goals. I'm trying to entertain people and tell stories. He's trying to keep them from killing themselves or keep people alive, right? And at the same time provide them with a great aircraft experience. So, but the process of beginning with the problem, identifying the problem, and then the steps that you have to go through to make something that is real, whether it's a place that people are coming to or a product that people will use, are very, very similar. Design still has these multiple steps of test and adjust until you finally come up with this thing. I still talk about our theme parks as products. They are entertainment machines. They're just a machine that you get to go into as opposed to a machine that you pick up and hold. So I find more similarities between product design, engineering, and even entertainment design than I do differences.
Do you think the physical entertainment is more uncontrollable than the product design? Because you have to think about every specific details about the people's experience, right?
it's certainly complicated.
Right?
But the goal actually is to take out a lot of the variables and control those variables. It's why theater is typically done in a place where you can control the lighting. And theme parks are the same way. You try and control the show as much as you can so you control the guest experience without the guest realizing they're being controlled. That's the ideal, and then do it on a level where everyone is still having a great experience. It's a hard thing to do.
It's a very hard thing to do. Okay, our next question would go to 杨明杰先生。好，然后我就用中文来。
Well, this question is for Mr. Yang Mingjie. Your presentation really has some influence on the real designs in reality, and I was impressed by the words you use. You said that a digital era has brought impact on our life, and you talked about the design in digital era, and human itself can be digitalized in the future. And from your perspective, how can traditional industries do to integrate themselves into the digital era? I think firstly, digitalization or the digital revolution actually started a decade ago or even earlier. But we, as people, as human, and the industries are adapting to this situation in which we are more and more being digitalized. I think the digital era influenced our life and manufacturing in the factories, and for corporations, I think there are many things that they can look into, like the IoT, Internet of Things, which is different from the Internet, like the Internet of furniture. The furniture in a household can form an Internet of Things, like the refrigerator can can judge whether the vegetables you grow in the household is fresh or not, or the home appliances in the kitchen can also have interactions to improve your experience, your life experience in the home. And there are a lot of information that can be processed. And speaking of the manufacturing process, Internet of Things can also be promoted in the manufacturing industry, like on transportation and energy industry, can also make good use of that to improve efficiency. And in this way, the traditional industries can get improved and enhanced because the energies can be distributed more effectively by IoT. It is complicated, but it is the direction for the future improvement of the industries. And secondly, in this digital era, we have some repetitive work which should be deleted. We don't have to do that repeatedly, including in the engineering industry and so on. So in the future, we will see more unmanned manufacturing in the future, and this is going to be more popular. And also the manufacturing techniques is going to be more elastic, which means it can provide us more customized products at a quicker speed. That is different from the traditional mass production way of producing things. And nowadays, the products can be very much customized, and each product can be different. And this is the feature, one of the feature of the digital era. One thing that is very, very different from the traditional mass production. Nowadays, many people are fascinated by customized services. So, yes, thank you for your sharing.
自己起的中文名字尼古拉。
I know your Chinese name is Nigula. How is your Chinese?
OK，好，我刚刚问了哈，我们刚刚
Just now, I asked the audience present here, and many of them are the mobile phone users of Harman brand. My question is, the hostess is asking the question in English.
Earphones. I'd like to know what will you search to meet customers' demands when you design a specific type of earphone? Yes.
Thank you for the question. Actually, I'm quite happy to hear that many people here are using our product. That brings a lot of profit to our company. We basically we start from ourselves. We design products that we personally use. So by doing that, we learn on our own experiences how the product should look like, should feel. Of course, we follow different trends. On a yearly basis, you have many different trends that kind of influencing our design, but also in cooperation with different partners that we are cooperating on certain development and the stages of development, we are coming to something that is very desirable for a user itself. And in that way, we are kind of maintain risk very low in terms of the potential loss and potential something that the user maybe will not like. So I think that the key here is that our designers are actually users of our product, and learning from that, I think that if the designer itself is satisfied with the product that it has, I'm quite sure that the user itself at the end will be satisfied and happy with the product that we will buy.
对的，如果我们的设计师都不喜
Yes, if the designer himself does not like the product, then neither will the customers do. No customers will buy that. Now we're going to have 2 open questions from the audience. Now please describe the features, the key elements in excellent industry design or product design in a few words.
I think that the perfect design can I mean, we have a lot of examples about what perfect design is, and we could also learn through the history what actually is design and how design actually is developed. And through the different eras of development, we can also see the design is significantly changed. But something that I believe is constant thing is that design, beside the beauty of cells, beside the beauty of the product itself, also needs to share full functionality behind, right? So if you talk about something that will be user-oriented, something that is human-centered design, we need really to think about design to the perspective of user through their own eyes, how they will use it and how they will appreciate something that we create. So design is basically synergy in between functionality and the beauty of the product itself.
审美确实非常非常的重要。然后
Yes, aesthetics is really important. So here's a philosophy is putting human in the center. Okay, Mr. Yang, in my opinion, I think a good design makes people pleasant. Good design makes people feel they get benefits, and good design is sustainable. Good design should also be emotional connected to users.
I have to say I agree with all of those comments. It's pretty much along the same lines. Audience always comes first. That's the same as consumer. And then typically it's something that can grow with your audience over time. If you're building something that is more than a temporary product and you want it to be sustainable over time, it's got to grow with them, or they have to be able to grow with it over time. And then for us, it's always about how do you expand or alter that product slightly without changing the heart of that project over time. In other words, you've got a great place to go. How do you add a small detail or change a part of it to it over time? So I would imagine it's similar to products. It's design. It doesn't matter whether you're. I love the discussion today on the bone implants. I thought that was fascinating, and I think that design, as we try and come up with solutions for things, is similar, whether you're doing live entertainment or product.
Thank you.
There is also another element I will add to, to everyone to close a bit, that the design, no matter what, is a teamwork. It's not only something that come out from one person only, but is a great teamwork. There is always ideas combined together. If you want to achieve a great success in design, you should share more. Let's say that as designers, we should look more as combining together and work together rather than be competitive together. Then obviously there is the world of the competitions and this and that, but it's truly a matter of cooperation to get better design. And obviously put a bit of emotions. Put a bit of love inside the design. It's always nice when a product of design or an architecture gives you emotions, provide you feelings that you could not expect, and you find out, let's say, when you leave this place or you use that appliance.
确实，在设计当中，团队的
Exactly, in the design process, collaboration of teamwork and teamwork is also important. My second question will be skipped because time is limited. I know some audience here today want to have interaction with the guests. If you have any question to ask the guests, you can raise up your hand. Hello. Good afternoon. I am interested in design. I want to ask a question, which is, if I want to be a perfect designer, what should I do to improve myself?
design. So how could she be a good designer? Do you have any suggestions for her?
Sharing and learning and put love and passion in the studies. No matter to study history of design or to looking for other references, but today it's really truly matter to put yourself thinking that you need to use that object or thinking that you need to live inside that architecture.
It's great. Theater is a very collaborative environment, so theme parks the same way. It's a very it is a group collaborative process, and I think that's great advice. My other advice is learn to see the difference. I've worked with many young artists and aspiring designers over the years, and I think when they can see good design and identify good design and then look at where their current design is at, that is one of the hardest things to do, is to evaluate your own design, compare it to other great design work, and learn to see the difference and learn to see where you need to grow so you can improve on your design.
看到不同就会成长。
Yes, you learn by seeing the difference. Do you have any suggestions, Mr. Yang? Maybe you should say something. Okay, Mr. Yang. I don't like giving advice to others because I think everybody is unique. And what you think, what you do is actually hard to define, and the most important is to be the best version of yourself. You don't have to be a good the best designer. Maybe you become a perfect doctor. So being interested is the most important. It's more important than actually being a perfect worker in this field. For Italians, design is their life. It's not like in China, which design is viewed as a major profession, but in Italy, design is viewed as a part of life, and I think this is a favorable attitude we should have toward design. So I don't think design is a profession. It should be actually popular and pervasive through the education process, starting from like primary school. So what you mean is actually design makes our life perfect, and if we integrate design in life, we will enjoy better life.
Like when we do scientific research, we are usually trying to find some useful information. But when we are doing like design research, we are trying to find problems in order to resolve them. By learning from the problems that we find out, we should not be scared of making mistakes and trying to trying to go over the obstacles that that obviously will be there on our way of success when it comes to a particular product. So I would say that besides an encouragement of that every single person should have, I believe that in particular in Asia culture, people should not be afraid of making mistakes.
True.
Right? Like for every single design presented today from my side, right? We made tons of prints, tons of mistakes, tons of like different things in order to succeed and later on get recognition on the international level. So I would encourage young people to literally work on themselves, work on their mistakes, on their improvements, and only in that way they will be capable of, once they receive real tasks to do, will be capable of resolving that problem without being afraid of what is in the front of them.
Yeah， 不要害怕犯错误就对了。
Do not be scared of making mistakes, and then you will be on the right way. We still have time for the last question. Okay. Actually, one of the keynote speaker today want to interact with the guests on the stage right now. Okay, please. I want to ask Mr. Yang Mingjie. You were talking about the topic of more virtual, more real, and the relations between digitalization and art and life. And in our gallery, we are doing an exhibition in which there's a work provided by Guangzhou Institute of Fine Arts. Of course, I've also watched your exhibition, and the work of his work was called the same temperature level. It is an algorithm which can. It's called the stratosphere. By showing that exhibition, he is showing that in this environment, the algorithm is making the human more isolated, because it shows that we actually have one choice, and the digital era, digital time also provide us with the same layer of choices, which means we are more accustomed and we're seemingly living in just one circle, which is more isolated. And it seems that the life is cut out from the outside world. So what shall this problem presented in his work be solved from your perspective? I understand your question. It actually means how a human is evolved, or how they are transformed by the technology, like the chip, into toward the a bad direction, a evil direction. Well, this is a topic that has been talked about recently. Yeah, actually, in a movie of Christopher Nolan. It's called The Western World, season 1 and 2, and I watched that TV series, and then I found that the director was Nolan. The ending of this series talks about a hybrid human, a human which is half human and half robot. So the end is actually shows that this hybrid man went to the Western world, and he's actually liberating the humankind. The algorithm actually provided the possibility, actually predicted at which age the man he was going to kill himself. Well, he probably will not become the leader of a great corporation, of a big corporation, but according to the judgment from the machine, this has no value. So in that algorithm, he would die of a car accident at the age of 29, but this secret was not meant to be released, because people will know this at that era. So it's forbidden to talk about to the people in that TV series. So this is a very big corporation in that story. All the men were incepted with a chip. Well, the people from the Western world is actually coming here to liberate them, and in the end he destroyed this world. And the man who was meant to commit suicide, to die of a car accident at the age of 29, was actually died of a natural phenomenon. So the human got liberated from his action. I think this story has something that is likened to in the work that you talked about. The algorithm actually is trying to capture your humanity, including the weakness of humans, by looking deeper and deeper into a human heart, by discussing the weakness. Like it's just like taking the only 5 cents in your pocket, taking the 5 cents out of your pocket, which are the only money you have. So the Ali team is actually also researching into such possibilities. This reminded me of another case, which is not illegal, and it's hard to define it as illegal. So from the perspective of law, we cannot control that, we cannot curb that at the moment. But once I went to Barcelona in Spain, as I liked collecting old products, and I was looking for the antiques. I was going through the antique shops. I was shocked at the antique market, which looked like a contemporary gallery, and the building was cool, very modern. I thought this should be the modern art gallery instead of antique market. I was very curious, and then I asked the local people. A man who was a college professor told me that people do second-hand market like this because the government supported it. The government actually has a clear vision of the impact of internet on people's life currently. So it is consciously postponing this process so that the internet can have as few negative impact on our current good lifestyle as possible. So at the end of the week, it becomes a good platform, a good place for social communication, like neighbors coming to this place to say hello and to have emotion connection. But in China, the internet is seemingly to to be in the process of killing these things. But in my opinion, this is full of humanity. This is what human needs. It's not because it contains values, and machines cannot understand the values. In this kind of market, a second-hand market is live. It has a value. So the government in Barcelona, in my story, the government was trying their best to protect the good quality life from being destroyed by the blowback of the negative aspects of the internet. This is very impressive to me. So what I want to say is we need to look at the technology from a very prudent perspective. It's just a method, it's just a way to make innovations, to solve the problems and solve the relations between nature and human, so that human and nature is not antagonistic. And so what you said in your story is actually very dangerous already. And now back to human itself. However, this process of technology revolution is irreversible, but we should have independent thinking in this process. Every man with an independent thinking ability should be capable of handling the problems. Thank you. Thank you for your question, Madam Wang, and thank you for your answer, Mr. Yang. Indeed, we need to rethink on the significance of design on art and life. Design is not capable of solving all problems, but it provides endless opportunities and possibilities for future life. Let's wish a good future for all the designers and design industry. Thank you very much for the participants, audience, and the guests here today. This is the end of the forum. Thank you. Our staff will clean this up. Now, dear guests, please come up to the stage for a photo. Please wait a moment. Our staff will ask the guests for a photo later.